Welcome to the Audiobook Chamber, where we explore timeless ideas from books that shape how we think, live, and see the world. Each episode brings insights from classic and modern nonfiction, stories of psychology, philosophy, history, and human nature, designed to inform, inspire, and make you think deeper. So, sit back, take a breath, and let's open today's book. Prisoners of Geography by Tim Marshall. A journey into how the simple realities of mountains, rivers, deserts, and coastlines have quietly dictated the rise and fall of nations. Imagine looking at the earth from above, a world of peaks, plains, and winding rivers. Geography, Tim Marshall reminds us, is not just background scenery, it is destiny. From Russia's frozen expanse to Africa's fractured frontiers, geography explains why nations behave the way they do. Russia, the world's largest nation, stretches across 11 time zones, a vast land where geography has shaped destiny. Its immense size brings abundant oil, gas, and minerals, yet maintaining unity across frozen tundra and endless plains remains a constant challenge. The open western frontier has left Russia historically exposed, inviting invasions from Napoleon and Hitler alike, both defeated by the same merciless winters and immense distances. These scars forged a mindset obsessed with security, buffer zones, and control over its borders. Most of Russia's ports freeze for much of the year, driving a centuries-long quest for warm water access, a goal that has fueled countless wars and diplomatic maneuvers. The harsh climate and distance from Moscow demand centralized authority to manage defense and resources, yet this centralization often isolates the outer regions. Geography, for Russia, is not passive. It dictates policy, power, and psychology, defining the nation's enduring struggle between survival and expansion. China's geography has long defined its fate, a landscape of both protection and peril. The Himalayas guard the southwest, isolating Tibet but shielding China's core. To the north, the Gobi Desert serves as a harsh frontier, both barrier and invasion path, shaping centuries of vigilance. The Yellow and Yangtze rivers sustain life, agriculture, and civilization, yet their floods have repeatedly tested the state's strength, reinforcing the need for centralized order and engineering mastery. The contrast between the fertile, densely populated east and the rugged, remote west, Tibet, Xinjiang, and Inner Mongolia, drives China's obsession with unity and control. The eastern seaboard, cradle of commerce and vulnerability alike, opens China to global trade but also to foreign intrusion. Across its vast terrain, geography dictates governance, infrastructure, and strategy. Mountains, deserts, and rivers have not merely shaped China's map. They have molded its enduring quest for stability, cohesion, and power. The United States is uniquely blessed by geography. Bordered by the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans, it developed without the constant invasions that shaped other continents. Within this secure expanse lies immense natural wealth, fertile plains, vast forests, and great rivers like the Mississippi and Missouri that connect the heartland to global trade, turning farms and industries into engines of prosperity. Peaceful borders with Canada and manageable ones with Mexico allow focus on growth, while dual coastlines open trade with Europe and Asia, nurturing global hubs like New York and San Francisco. Each region contributes. The Midwest feeds, the South cultivates, the West mines, and the coasts innovate. Geography shaped not just the economy but identity. Abundance bred ambition, security inspired exploration, and open land fueled expansion. Despite storms and quakes, America's terrain remains its greatest strength, the bedrock of its rise as a confident and resilient superpower. Europe, compact yet full of contrasts, is shaped as much by its geography as by its culture. Fertile northern plains sustained empires, while southern mountains, the Alps, Pyrenees, and Carpathians, formed natural fortresses that both protected and divided. Rivers like the Rhine and Danube became arteries of trade and lines of war, binding cities in commerce while inviting invasion. Its dense, varied terrain forced nations into proximity, fostering both innovation and rivalry. The North European plain, open and flat, made Germany and Poland rich yet exposed. Coastal access to the Mediterranean, Baltic, and North Seas turned ports like Venice and Rotterdam into global hubs of power and culture. But geography also bred fragmentation. Mountains and peninsulas preserved countless languages and identities. Europe's history of alliances, wars, and unity reflects its land, connected yet divided, fertile yet fragile. Geography remains the continent's most enduring force. Africa, the world's most geographically diverse continent, is defined by extremes. The vast Sahara separates north from sub-Saharan Africa, limiting movement and trade, while Central Africa's rainforests hindered travel and early development. Rivers like the Nile, Congo, and Niger sustain life, yet isolate regions through harsh terrain. Immense distances slowed trade and unity, fostering deep cultural and linguistic diversity. Colonial powers worsened fragmentation with borders that ignored geography, leaving lasting divisions. Yet Africa's riches, fertile valleys, minerals, oil, and vast savannas hold immense potential. Geography here drives both hardship and innovation. Landlocked nations struggle for access, while resource-rich regions face conflict and resilience alike. Across deserts, jungles, and plains, Africans have adapted with ingenuity, turning constraint into creativity. Geography remains Africa's silent architect, shaping its challenges, strength, and destiny. The Middle East is geography's crucible, where deserts, rivers, and oil define destiny. Between the Tigris and Euphrates, the Fertile Crescent birthed civilization, showing how scarce fertile lands can sustain empires amid vast aridity. Water is precious, rainfall unreliable, and soil fragmented, fueling both innovation and conflict. At the crossroads of Asia, Europe, and Africa, it became a hub of trade and conquest, from Persians to Ottomans, drawn by its strategic position. Oil reshaped its fate, turning deserts into wealth, yet battlegrounds of power. Colonial borders ignored geography, deepening divisions that endure. Deserts isolate, rivers sustain, and oil empowers, all shaping religion, culture, and politics. In the Middle East, geography is never passive. It is the silent architect of civilization and conflict. India and Pakistan share geography as deeply as they share history. The Himalayas and Karakoram Range form a mighty northern barrier, shielding both nations while shaping climate and monsoons that sustain the fertile plains below. Rivers like the Indus, Ganges, and Brahmaputra breathe life into the land, feeding agriculture and civilization, yet also fueling conflict over water and power. Partition in 1947 redrew borders, but not geography, dividing plains, rivers, and people once unified by trade and culture. India's vast lowlands drive immense agricultural output, while Pakistan's dependence on the Indus makes water both lifeline and vulnerability. Floods, droughts, and shifting flows shape policy and survival alike. Fertile valleys foster cities and commerce. Deserts and mountains breed isolation and diversity. Geography unites through interdependence and divides through scarcity, a silent force shaping cooperation, rivalry, and destiny across the subcontinent. Korea and Japan reveal how isolation, proximity, and terrain shape nations. Korea's mountainous peninsula forces people into narrow plains and valleys, concentrating settlement and agriculture while leaving flat western lands open to invasion. Positioned between China and Japan, Korea became a strategic buffer, fostering resilience, diplomacy, and centralized governance. Limited arable land encouraged careful resource use and infrastructure planning. Japan, a volcanic island chain, found protection and opportunity in the sea. Its mountains left scarce farmland, driving innovation in agriculture, trade, and technology. Resource scarcity pushed Japan to industrialize and expand outward, while constant exposure to natural threats built adaptability. In both nations, geography molded culture, identity, and strategy. Isolation nurturing uniqueness, proximity demanding defense. Mountains, seas, and scarcity forged societies defined by discipline, ingenuity, and endurance, proving that even small lands can yield immense influence. Latin America's geography is both majestic and demanding, shaping its people and destiny. The Andes form a mineral-rich spine that divides nations and isolates communities, while the vast Amazon nurtures life, yet hinders connection. Populations cluster where land allows, along coasts, rivers, and highlands, giving rise to cities like São Paulo, Lima, and Buenos Aires. Mountains, forests, and scarce farmland make trade difficult, pushing economies toward exports of minerals, oil, and crops. Natural barriers bred diversity but limited unity, and colonial borders deepened fragmentation. Despite earthquakes, floods, and storms, its people adapt, terracing slopes, navigating rivers, and thriving along coasts. Geography remains Latin America's greatest challenge and teacher, forging resilience and creativity across a land of extremes. At Earth's frozen edges, the Arctic and Antarctica reveal geography's ultimate power, where human ambition meets nature's limits. The Arctic, an ocean rimmed by ice and continents, is both fragile and strategic. As ice melts, new trade routes and resource opportunities emerge, yet peril remains. Unpredictable weather, drifting ice, and delicate ecosystems make survival and exploitation treacherous. Geography grants access but demands respect. Antarctica, by contrast, is a vast frozen continent ruled by cold, wind, and isolation. Its ice holds most of Earth's freshwater, shaping global climate and sea levels. Governed by international treaties, it stands as a scientific sanctuary where politics yields to geography's dominance. No nation can truly possess it. Only cooperation allows limited presence. Together, the poles teach that even with technology and global reach, humanity remains bound by nature's terms. Geography still defines what is possible, enforcing humility, unity, and awe at the planet's extremes. Across continents, one truth emerges. Geography is the silent architect of human history. Mountains shelter and isolate. Rivers connect and divide. Deserts protect, but also starve. From Russia's cold plains to Africa's hot savannas, geography dictates how nations grow, trade, fight, and survive. Technology may soften its grip, but it never disappears. To understand geopolitics, and even our daily lives, we must first look at the map. Because every border, every empire, every conflict begins not with politics, but with the land beneath our feet. Thank you for listening to the Audiobook Chamber. Today, we explored Prisoners of Geography by Tim Marshall, a journey through the landscapes that define our world and the invisible boundaries that shape nations. Remember, geography isn't destiny, but it is the foundation on which destiny is built. The more we understand the world's terrain, the better we understand ourselves and the choices nations make. If you enjoyed this audiobook summary, subscribe to the Audiobook Chamber for more explorations of timeless books and big ideas, stories that teach us not just about the world, but about the human mind navigating it. Keep learning, keep growing, and remember, true wealth begins in the mind.